Hello! Greetings mga ka-Sky Watchers and mga ka-Spacers natin out there from Luzon, Visayas and Mindanao. And sa lahat po natin mga ka-Sky Watchers and mga ka-Spacers na nakatutok po ngayon sa ating vlog, ating video worldwide and netwide. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. This is your Sky Watcher, Ka-Spacer, and Space Commander, Sir Jun Cahigal. And welcome to another of our online lecture. So ang pag-uusapan po natin ngayong araw na ito is all about stars. So bago po tayo magpatuloy sa ating video ngayong araw na to, again, don't forget to like and share this video so that we could reach more people, no? Lalong-lalo na po yung mga estudyante natin out there so that they would be engaged and they would be inspired to love the sciences. And don't forget to follow us on our Facebook and TikTok channel, the Sky Watcher Society of Las Piñas. Ayan po yung aming logo, the Sky Watcher Society of Las Piñas. And follow me po sa aking YouTube channel, The Science Guy, Professor Jun Cahigal. Don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell so that you would be maging updated po kayo sa ating mga future videos. So anyway, bago po tayo magpatuloy, shout out po kina Shaymin, kay Eric. So nandito po sila ngayon. Maraming salamat for joining our live stream tonight. Ayan po na. So at the moment, we have 18 viewers and 131 heart reacts. Shout out din kay Rachel Yu. So bisita lang po kayo, and again, don't forget to like and share this video para po makarating naman sa maraming tao, lalong-lalo na po yung mga estudyante natin out there so that they would be engaged and they would be inspired to love the sciences. Ayan po, so napakaganda po ng ating pag-uusapan ngayong araw na to. So we will be discussing all about stars. Alright, so siguro i-define po muna natin, no? Let's define what a star is. Okay, so what is a star? So basically a star is an object that heat and light the planets in a system, like in the case of our sun. A star is composed of a ball of plasma that is held together by its own gravity. So a star is a celestial object that produces its own heat and light. And what is going on inside the star? So technically, our star, our sun, and all the stars in the universe, they are basically nuclear fusion reactors. Alright, and this energy, the energy from nuclear fusion is released as electromagnetic radiation. So can you imagine mga ka-Sky Watchers and mga ka-Spacers? So inside the sun, hydrogen atoms fuses to form helium. And in the process of fusing hydrogen to form helium, the reaction releases a tremendous amount of energy in the form of heat and light. Okay mga ka-Sky Watchers and mga ka-Spacers, so that's what's going on inside a star. Our sun in particular, because our sun technically is a star. Okay, so at this point, let us now identify the characteristics common to all stars. And this will include our sun as well. Alright, so first we have distance. Now, stars are incredibly far, no? Ang lalayo ng mga stars na yan. And since stars are really far, they are measured in light years. So the distance of stars, they are measured in light years. So ano ba tong light year? A light year is the distance in which a ray of light would travel in 1 year. So can you imagine mga ka-skywatchers and mga ka-spacers that light travels at about 186,000 miles per second. And can you imagine how much light has traveled in, let's say, a minute? A minute is about 60 seconds. So can you imagine the distance that light has traveled in 1 minute? And can you imagine the distance that light has traveled in 1 hour? No? Because 1 hour is 60 minutes. So ganun po, no? Ganun po ang measuring stick to measure the distance of stars. It is in light years. So light travels in 1 year at about 5.88 trillion miles per year. So that's how we measure the distance of stars. And the nearest star is Proxima Centauri. And Proxima Centauri is about 4 light years away from Earth. So that's one characteristic that is common to all stars. So stars are really incredibly far. And the distance of stars, they are measured in light years. So light travels at about 186,000 miles per second. And can you imagine that it would take 5.88 trillion miles in 1 year for light to travel. So ganun po ang yardstick in measuring the distances of stars. So at the moment meron po tayong mga real-time viewers in Julie's Bake Shop, kay Shaimin, kay Stargazing, kay Kwekwe, kay Kim Jungkon. Yan, kay from the year 3000 millennia siguro ito. Alright, so maraming pong salamat for joining our live stream today. Yan, yan, sabi ni Alnamiz, hi sir. Alnamiz, alright. Sige po, so ang topic po natin ngayon is all about stars. So we were discussing po yung mga characteristics common to all stars, no? And one characteristic is distance. So talagang malalayo po ang mga stars. And the distances of stars is measured in light years. Alright, another characteristic common to all stars is magnitude. So magnitude refers to the brightness of stars. Alright, so magnitude refers to the measure of brightness of celestial objects, no, particularly stars. And magnitude can be apparent magnitude and absolute magnitude. So what's the difference between apparent and absolute magnitude? So when we speak of apparent magnitude, this refers to how bright a star appears to be from Earth. And when we speak of absolute magnitude or luminosity, this is how bright a star actually is. So to give you po an idea of the difference between apparent and absolute magnitude, let's take a look at this analogy. So we have here two cars, no, labeled A and B. Or cars A and B are identical. So yung headlight po ng car A appears brighter. Yan, kung makikita niyo po yung ating picture, so yung headlight po ng car A appears brighter because it's obvious in the illustration that car A is closer. Na mas malapit po yung car A sa atin, so mas maliwanag po yung kanyang headlights, no, as compared to car B. Ayan po yung apparent magnitude. So again, when we speak of apparent magnitude, this is how bright a star appears to be from Earth. Okay, yung car B, hindi masyadong maliwanag yung kanyang headlight kasi mas malayo po siya. So yun po yung apparent magnitude. Now, ano po yung absolute magnitude? So, let's take a look again. We have here cars A and B. Yung car A, truck po siya. Yung B, kotse. So, cars A and B are at the same distance. Ayan, no? So, pareho sila ng distansya from us. Pero, pag binuksan po yung headlights nila, yung truck po, yung car A's headlights appear brighter because they are intrinsically brighter. So, natural po na mas maliwanag yung headlights ng truck, no, yung car A. Likas na maliwanag, no, as compared to car B. So, yun po yung absolute magnitude. So, again, when we speak of absolute magnitude or luminosity, that's how bright a star actually is. So, ito po yung napakagandang analogy po ng apparent and absolute magnitude. Okay, let's take a look at another example here to, again, explain what apparent and absolute magnitude is. So, we have here two stars labeled A and B, and we have here an observer. So an observer sees two stars. No, star A appears brighter than star B. Ito po yung naka-encircle. Ito po yung nakikita ng observer. So mas maliwanag yung star A as compared to star B kasi yung star A mas malapit po sa observer. So ang perspective ng observer sa star A mas maliwanag siya. But in reality, mas maliwanag po yung B. No, yung star B is brighter. Yun po yung absolute magnitude, no? That's the actual brightness of a star. Ayan, if stars A and B were both 10 parsecs away, same distance from the observer, star B would appear brighter than star A. Yun po yung absolute magnitude. Pero from the perspective of the observer, mas maliwanag po yung star A than star B kasi yung star A mas malapit po sa observer. Ayan po yung tinatawag natin na apparent magnitude. Alright, so again, meron din siyang relationship sa distance. Alright, so there mga ka-sky watchers and mga ka-spacers. So that's how we differentiate between apparent and absolute magnitude. Again, when we speak of apparent magnitude, this is how bright a star appears to be from Earth. No, yun po yung ating perspective. Kung nag-observe po tayo ng star dito po sa Earth. Ang absolute magnitude naman po, yun po yung how bright a star actually is. Or in short, ang tawag po dyan ay luminosity. Alright mga ka-sky watchers, so magnitude is a very important characteristic of stars. So first we have distance. So talagang yung mga stars na yan, lahat ng mga between sa kalawakan ay napakalayo po. And the second characteristic is magnitude or brightness. Okay, so the third characteristic of stars is temperature and color. So yung color po ng star actually indicates the temperature of the star. So may relationship ang color ng star and temperature. And yung color din po ng star will also indicate yung kanyang size, as I will be mentioning later. And ang mga bituin po, ang mga stars, they are classified by their temperature. So ito po yung classification ng stars according to temperature and even size. So ito po yung kanyang classification. We will start from the brightest, then we will end dun sa dimmest. So we have class O, class B star, class A, class F, class G in which our sun belongs. Our sun is a class G star. Then we have class K and class M. So according to decreasing temperature and brightness, yung class O, they are considered the brightest. And sila din po yung pinakamainit. No? They had the highest temperature. This is followed by class B, then class A. Then yung pinaka-dimmest and yung pinakamalamig belong to class M. Yan. And meron tayong mnemonics para mas matandaan po natin yung order po nila, no, yung decreasing temperature or decreasing brightness. So, oh, be my fine girl, kiss me. Ayan, so class O, class B, class A, class F, class G, class K, and class M. Alright, so that's how we classify stars based on color, and color is related to temperature and even yung size po niya. So, ang pinaka mainit and the brightest are the class O stars. So, class O stars, they are about 25,000 degrees Kelvin. Alright, then this is followed by class B, then class A, ayan, decreasing ano na to, temperature and decreasing brightness. Na-decrease, no, pababa po siya. Then class F, then yung araw po natin, our own sun, is a class G star. Ayan, no, class K and class M, no. Yung class M, sila na po yung malamig, no, malamig, pero hindi po ibig sabihin pag malamig nagyayelo, hindi po, mainit pa rin po 'yan. Class M stars, they are about 3,500 degrees Kelvin. And sila din po yung dimmest. Ayan, hindi sila ganong maliwanag. And yung color din po mahalaga din, and if you will notice yung mga class O stars, no, ito yung class O, medyo bluish po siya, no, bluish. Yan, ito yung class O, yung pinakamainit, no, bluish siya. This is followed by, ito yung parang ano na to, light blue. Then ito yung class G, class A, ito po class A, class O. Ito O, B, A, then followed by F, no, may pagka-yellow na yung F. Ito yung sun natin, no, yellow. Then class K, ito yung K, medyo orange siya. And ito yung class M, no, red, no, red star. So ito yung red star, siya yung dimmest and siya rin po yung malamig. About 3,000 degrees Kelvin. Yan, coldest. Ayan, so from coldest to hottest, so we have red. Yan, red star na malamig, 3,000 degrees Kelvin. This is followed by, ito yung orange star, about 4,000 degrees Kelvin. Then yellow star, ito po yung araw po natin, our sun is a yellow star, about 6,000 degrees Kelvin. Then ito yung parang light yellow, about 7,000 degrees Kelvin, yan, painit na po ng painit. Then light blue, ito po, 10,000 degrees Kelvin, ito yung class A na ito, class A star. Then class B, ayun, may pagka ano na siya, blue. Ito na dark blue, ito yung class O, about 30,000 degrees Kelvin. So again mga ka-sky watchers, na may relationship between color, brightness, and even po yung size. Alright, yan. So yan, the colors of the stars from hottest to coldest, so blue, ayan, about 20,000 degrees Kelvin, like Rigel. Mainit palang Rigel, no? Blue siya. Then blue-white, Sirius. Blue-white pala si Sirius, no? About 10,000 degrees Kelvin. Alright, then our sun, it's a yellow star, about 6,000 degrees Kelvin yung kanyang temperature. Then orange, like Aldebaran. Aldebaran is an orange star, about 4,000 degrees Kelvin. And Antares, no? Antares is coldest. Ayan, red star siya. Temperature is only 3,000 degrees Kelvin. Okay, so there. Alright, mga ka-sky watchers. So this is how we classify stars, no, based on color and temperature. And yung size po niya, no, mayroon ding relationship between color, temperature, and size. Usually po yung mga class O stars, they are the brightest, they are the hottest, and sila rin po yung biggest, no, yung mga class O. So ulitin ko po mga ka-sky watchers and mga ka-spacers, yung mga class O stars, they are usually the brightest, the hottest, and the biggest stars. Okay, this is followed by class B, yung mga class B stars. Alright, ayan, so medyo malit siya ng kontes compared to class O. Then this is followed by class A. Ayan, palit na po ng paliit. Then class F. Ayan, then class G in which our sun belongs, yellow star. So medyo maliit na po yung class G. Class K and M. Yan yung class M, maliit siya. And siya rin po ay dimmest and coldest stars po yan. Alright mga ka-sky watchers, so class M, they are the dimmest, smallest, and coldest of the stars in our universe. Then ano na yan, class K, palaki na ng palaki, tas, nagiging mas maliwanag na siya at umiinit. Then class G, na about 6,000 degrees Kelvin, mas malaki ng konti sa K. Then followed by class F na mas malaki ng konti sa G, then A, then B, then O. Yung O po, sila po yung brightest, sila din po yung hottest, and sila rin po yung biggest. Alright, that's how we classify stars. Alright, so tuloy na po natin ang ating pinag-uusapan about how stars are classified. So again, stars are classified based on temperature, color, and yung size po niyan. Plus, we have to consider yung distances ng mga stars and yung kanilang magnitude. So under magnitude, we have apparent and absolute magnitude. Okay. Alright, now itong relationship between size, luminosity, and temperature can be represented using the so-called Hertzsprung-Russell diagram or HR diagram. So the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram or HR diagram is a graph that plots the star's brightness or luminosity, then against their temperature or color, and even yung size. This tool helps astronomers classify stars and understand their life cycles, as stars are not randomly distributed but fall into specific groups like the main sequence, giants, supergiants, and white dwarfs. Alright, so here is a sample. Ayan po mga ka-sky watchers and mga ka-spacers. Here is a sample of the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. So you will notice the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram or yung HR diagram shows the relationship between brightness or luminosity, yung kanyang temperature, and yung magnitude, together with yung classification niya, yung size, kung class O, class B, and class A. Alright, so you will notice mga ka-sky watchers and mga ka-spacers. Now, tignan niyo po yung ito, class O. Yung mga class O na stars, ito po yung nasa taas ng ating diagram, nakalagay po dyan O. Sila po yung pinakamaliwanag, mataas po yung kanilang luminosity, 10 to the 4th power. Ayan po, so maliwanag po siya. And sila din po yung pinakamainit, about 40,000 degrees Kelvin. Then this is followed by class B stars, so about between 10 to the 4th power hanggang sa 10 to the 2nd power luminosity. Yan, ito yung B. And yung kanyang temperature is about 20,000 degrees Kelvin. So there, ayan po. Then this is followed by class A. Ito po nung pagka-yellowish yung dating, about ito yung 1, luminosity of 1. And yung kanyang temperature is about 10,000 degrees Kelvin. Then this is followed by class F. Luminosity niya, ito, 10 to the negative 2 luminosity, and yung kanyang temperature is about 7,500 degrees Kelvin. Then ito yung class G, to which our sun belongs. Our sun is a class G star. Ang temperature niya is about 6,500 degrees Kelvin. Ang luminosity niya, ito din, no? About 10 to the negative second power. Ayan po, no? Then ito yung class K, about 4,500 degrees Kelvin. Mababa na pa yung luminosity niya. Ito, 10 to the negative 4 na. And ito po yung class M. Sila na po yung dimmest. And sila rin po yung coldest, about 3,000 degrees Kelvin. Yan, dimmest, no? Dim na po sila. And sila na rin po yung coldest. So ayan po yung Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. Ngayon po, ito po ngayon, meron tayo sa diagram na tinatawag na main sequence stars. So ang ibig lang sabihin na to make it simpler po, pag sinabing main sequence, pag nagdo-nuclear fusion na po yung star, pag sumindi na po yung star, and the star is generating its own heat and light, yun po yung tinatawag natin na main sequence. Ayan. So, ang mga between, they spend most of their lives in this classification, yung main sequence stars. Ayan po, no? So, yan pong ibig sabihin. Ang ibig lang sabihin po nito, pag sumindi na po yung star, when the star undergoes nuclear fusion, and when the star is producing heat and light, ayan na po, the star now belongs to the main sequence group of stars. Okay, so there mga ka-sky watchers. So ito po yung this is a table again summarizing yung Hertzsprung-Russell diagram showing the classification of stars, yung kanyang temperature and yung color. So again, yung mga class O, sila po yung pinakamalaki. They are the biggest. They are also the brightest. And ang color po nila is blue. And yung temperature po nila, sila po yung pinakamainit, no, between 20,000 to 60,000 degrees Kelvin yung kanyang temperature. Then yung mga class B stars, no, sila yung mas malit sila ng konti sa class O. They are blue-white in color. And temperature is between 10,000 to 30,000 degrees Kelvin. Then class A, medyo mas maliit ng konti sa B. White po sila, mga white stars. And yung temperature po nila is between 7,500 to 10,000 degrees Kelvin. Then class F, medyo maliit po sila as compared to A. Color po nila is yellow-white. And ang temperature po nila is between 6,000 to 7,500 degrees Kelvin. Then class G, in which our sun belongs. Our sun is a class G star. Our sun is a yellow star. And yung temperature po ng araw natin is between 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Kelvin. Class K stars, so they are between 3,500 to 5,000 degrees Kelvin. And yung class M, sila po yung dimmest, sila yung pinakamaliit, and sila yung coldest, color red po sila. And yung temperature po nila is between 2,000 to 3,500 degrees Kelvin. Alright, so ayan po yung classification po ng ating mga stars. So at this point, we have 415 viewers and 3,183 heart reacts. And shoutout po sa mga real-time viewers po natin. Ayan, si Ramon Shingay Franchel, kay Shaimin, kay Eugene Nadori, kay Bisenya. Ayan, kay Keke, kay Kwekwe, ayan, kay It's Miyuna. Ang galing mga pangalan ninyo, no? Alright, sabi ni Bisenya, different sizes ng stars. So yung mga color niya will also indicate yung mga sizes. Like yung ito, yung class O, Usually sila yung malalaki at sila rin yung mga brightest, sila rin yung mga maiinit. Then this is followed by class B, then class A. Yung sun po natin is a class G star. Ayan, so yellow siya. Ang kanyang temperature mga 6,000 degrees Kelvin. Yung mga class M, sila yung dimmest, sila rin po yung smallest, and sila rin po yung pinakamalamig. Alright? Okay, so that's how we classify stars. Okay. Alright, so let's talk about now the life cycle of stars. Alright, so paano ba nagsisimula ang buhay ng isang star? So usually stars, they begin their lives as clouds of dust and gas called nebula or nebulae. So what is a nebula? A nebula is basically a conglomeration of dust and gas. And eventually, no, itong mga nebula na ito, like yung Orion Nebula, so gravity may cause the nebula to contract. So medyo magko-contract po yung nebula because of gravity. And eventually, yung matter in the gas will begin to condense, no, into a region which we call as a protostar. And the protostar will continue to condense. Then eventually pressure and heat builds up, and because of this pressure and heat, there would be a critical mass. So magkakaroon na, pasisindi na po yung protostar na yan, nuclear fusion will begin, hydrogen fuses to form helium. At pag nangyari po yan, sumindi na po yung protostar, magiging main sequence phase na po yung star na yan. Kaya sinabi ko po kanina, pag sinabi nating main sequence stars, ito po yung mga stars na sumindi na po, no, hydrogen fuses to form helium, nagkaroon na po ng nuclear fusion. So once nagkaroon na po ng nuclear fusion, yan, the star now begins its main sequence phase. Alright, yan. So most of its life is in this phase, no, yung main sequence. So can you imagine mga ka-skywatchers and mga ka-spacers, ang mga between, they begin their lives as clouds of dust and gas called nebulae or nebula. Kaya ang mga nebula, they are considered as the birthplace or cradle of stars. Yan, like yung Orion Nebula, so siguro every time na i-point nyo yung telescope nyo sa Orion Nebula, think again, no, itong Orion Nebula, dito sinisilang ang mga bituin. Lahat po ng klase ng nebula, kung Crab Nebula or Horseshoe Nebula, or yan, yung Orion, no, they are considered as the cradle or the birthplace of stars. Alright, mga ka-skywatchers, no, this is the Crab Nebula. Ayan, so every time na makita nyo to sa mga photos or even sa telescope, ayan, and think again, ito pong mga ano na ito, itong mga heavenly bodies na to, they are considered as the cradle or the birthplace of stars. So itong nebula will eventually contract, no, because of gravity. Then magkakaroon po yan ng dense central mass called a protostar. Then eventually, pressure and heat builds up habang nagko-contract yung protostar. Then nuclear fusion will begin. Hydrogen fuses to form helium. Then sisindi na po yung protostar. The star now will begin its main sequence phase. Pag sinabi nating main sequence, sumindi na po yung protostar. Nuclear fusion has commenced. Hydrogen fuses to form helium. Alright, so that's how stars are born. A star begins to form in a nebula. No, a nebula is considered as the cradle or the birthplace of stars. A nebula is a cloud of dust and gas. And eventually, because of gravity, the nebula will begin to contract or to compress. Now, the gas and dust compresses due to gravitational forces. And eventually, magkakaroon ng dense central region called a protostar. Now, the protostar will continue to condense, pressure and heat builds up. Then eventually, magkakaroon ng critical mass, hydrogen fuses to form helium. nuclear fusion begins and the star will start with its main sequence phase. Alright, so that's how stars are born, mga ka-sky watchers and mga ka-spacers. And again, pag sinabi nating main sequence star, ayan, this is the star that is fusing hydrogen into helium in its core. So ibig lang sabihin po niyan, sumindi na po yung protostar. Nagkaroon na ng nuclear fusion wherein hydrogen fuses to form helium. Yan, and this will keep the star in a stable phase of its life. These stars, which includes our sun po, yung araw po natin is in its main sequence phase. So that makes up 90% of the universe's stars and exists in a stable due to gravitational equilibrium. Alright po, so yun po yung tinatawag natin na main sequence stars. Okay, so there mga ka-sky watchers and mga ka-spacers. So, pero hindi po only po yung buhay ng bituin, no? So, ang bituin ay may lifespan din. So, stars are born, stars begin their main sequence, and eventually, mamamatay din po yung stars, no? Stars will end their lives. And yung lifespan po ng isang star will depend on the size, yung laki. Yung lifespan ng isang star ay depende sa kanyang laki or size. Now, ito po yung parang pattern. So, very large, massive stars, yung mga malalaking stars like Class O, Class B, Class A, they burn their fuel much faster than smaller stars. Yung mga malalaking stars like Class O, yung mga Class O, Class B, and Class A, they burn their hydrogen fuel much faster, no, than itong mga maliliit, yung Class F, Class G, Class K, and Class M. So kung mabilis po silang magsunog ng kanilang panggatong, yung panggatong po is yung hydrogen. Pag mabilis pong ikonsumo yung hydrogen, if they burn hydrogen fuel much faster, then anong ibig sabihin po nun? Mas maiksi ang buhay. Mas maiksi yung buhay ng star. Alright mga ka-sky watchers, so very large, massive stars burn their hydrogen fuel much faster than smaller stars. Their main sequence may last only a few 100,000 years. So maiksi lang po ang buhay ng mga malalaking stars na yan, yung Class O, Class B, and Class A. Kasi ang mabilis silang magkumonsumo ng hydrogen nila. Smaller stars will live on for billions of years because they burn their hydrogen fuel much more slowly. Like our own sun. No, our own sun has been around for 4 billion years. And still, our sun is burning hydrogen fuel and it will continue to burn hydrogen for another 4 billion years. No, ganun po yung ating araw. Matagal pa ho ang buhay ng ating araw. Our sun will still burn hydrogen fuel for another 4 billion years. Unlike itong mga malalaking stars na ito, no, na gahaman sa pagsunog ng hydrogen fuel nila, no? They burn hydrogen fuel much faster. So maiksi lang ang buhay nila, no? Their main sequence, yung kanilang pagsunog ng hydrogen, will last only a few 100,000 years. No, maiksi lang ang buhay ng mga malalaking stars na yan, no? Unlike yung mga smaller stars, since they burn their fuel much more slowly, mahaba ang buhay ng mga smaller stars like our own sun. Alright mga ka-sky watchers, pero ang katotohanan yan, whether the star is a Class O, Class G like our own sun, or Class M, eventually yung panggatong nila of hydrogen, yung kanilang fuel, lahat yan makukonsumo, no? Stars fuel will begin to run out. Hindi naman only po yung hydrogen ng mga bituin. Eventually, the fuel will be depleted. Mauubos din yan. Parang ano yan po mga ka-Skywatchers, para kayong nag-bonfire. Diba? O kaya ano na lang, nag-iihaw ng barbecue. Diba? Diba? Pag nag-iihaw po kayo ng barbecue, eventually yung panggatong yan, yung charcoal, diba? Mauubos din yan eh. Wala namang only charcoal. No, eventually yung panggatong yan na uupos, no, nauubos yan. Alright, so ang tanong, what happens now when the fuel begins to run out sa mga stars, no, whether the star is a class O or class M? So when all of the star's hydrogen fuel is depleted, it will expand into what is known as a red giant. So ganito lang yun po mga ka-Skywatchers and mga ka-Spacers. I'll give you an analogy. Siguro naman po nakakita na po kayo ng bonfire. Diba? So kung mapapansin ninyo sa isang bonfire, pag medyo paubos na po yung yung kahoy, pag sunog na talaga lahat, pansinin niyo po yung bonfire, medyo lumalaki po yung apoy as the wood slowly is consumed. No, medyo lumalaki po yung apoy habang paubos na yung panggatong. It's the same with stars. When the hydrogen fuel is depleted, mag-i-expand po yung star, whether it is a class O or class A or class M or class B, mag-i-expand po yan. Now, sa mga class O or class A and class B, yan yung mga massive stars na yan, pag nag-expand yan, they turn into red supergiants. Pero yung mga maliliit na stars like yung sun natin, yung class F, class G, class K, and class M, pag na-deplete na po yung kanilang hydrogen fuel, when the hydrogen fuel becomes depleted, they will expand into a red giant, no? Yung mga smaller stars. Pero yung mga massive stars like yung class O, class B, class A, may mga malalaking stars na yan, they will expand into red supergiants. Yan, so mag-expand po yan. This phase will last until the star exhausts its remaining fuel. Now, in the case of our sun, so ang sun po natin, pag nag-deplete na yung kanyang hydrogen fuel, it will expand, no, into a red giant yung ating araw. And when it expands into a red giant, it will engulf the inner planets, no, Mercury, Venus, kasama na po yung Earth. And pag nag-expand at na-engulf po yung Earth, edi yun na po yung katapusan ng mundo natin. So by that time, siguro naman alam na natin pag naging red giant na yung ating star, yung ating sun, siguro naman we have colonized other planets. Pwede na tayong sigurong lumipat, no, ng planeta. No, by that time siguro yung ating technology is advanced enough para makapag interstellar travel, we can escape sa Earth kasi nag-expand na po yung sun natin into a red giant. Kasi may engulf po yan as the sun expands into a red giant. It will engulf the inner planet. So sasakop po tayo hanggang sa Mars. Then apektado din po yung Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Ayan po, no. So basically yung solar system natin affected pag naging red giant yung ating sun. Okay, yung mga malalaking stars talagang red supergiants, talagang mag-i-expand sila, no? Alright mga ka-Skywatchers and mga ka-Spacers, and at this point, the star will collapse. So, ganito po yung mangyayari. So, sa kaso po ng ating araw, ito po, our sun is an average star. Pag nag-expand po yan, pag na-deplete yung kanyang hydrogen fuel, it will expand into a red giant. Then eventually, pag talagang ubos na yung hydrogen fuel, it will turn into a planetary nebula. And our star, our sun, will end its life as a white dwarf and eventually turn into a black dwarf. Pero yung mga malalaking stars like yung mga class O, class A, and class B, when their hydrogen fuel runs out or depleted na, yung mga massive stars na yan will expand into a red supergiant, and pag nag-collapse yan, yung mga red supergiants na yan, pag nag-collapse, this will trigger a enormous explosion, and that explosion is what we call a supernova explosion. So, yung mga average stars kagaya po ng ating sun will blow away their outer atmospheres to form a planetary nebula. No, ito po yung sinasabi ko po kanina. Their cores will remain behind and burn as a white dwarf until they cool down. What will be left is a dark ball of matter known as a black dwarf. So our sun will end its life as a black dwarf. So ayan po, ito yung life cycle ng ating araw. So our sun was born as a stellar nebula, then naging protostar, then sumindi siya, naging main sequence. Hanggang ngayon, our sun is a main sequence star. Then pag naubos na po yung hydrogen fuel, then our sun will expand into a red giant. It will engulf the inner planets, kasama na po yung Earth, and that's it. That's the end of the world. Then eventually, yung ating red giant star will turn into a planetary nebula, then it will end its life as a white dwarf, and talagang pag na-burn up na yung hydrogen, it will turn into a black dwarf. Pero yung mga malalaking stars, no, if the star is massive enough, the collapse will trigger a violent explosion known as a supernova explosion. Alright? Now, if the remaining mass of the star is about 1.4 times that of our sun, the core is unable to support itself and it will collapse further to become a neutron star. So, ito po mga ka-sky watchers, no? Ayan, so yung mga red supergiant na yan, pag nag-collapse yan, magkakaroon ng explosion called a supernova explosion. Ayan, no. Then yung supernova na yan will turn either into a neutron star, or pag malaki masyado yung star na yan, it will turn into a black hole. The supernova will turn into a black hole. So yung supernova explosion ng mga very massive stars will end their lives either as a neutron star or a black hole. Pero yung mga average size stars like our own sun, no, they will expand into a red giant. Then pag naupos na yung hydrogen fuel niya, it will turn into a planetary nebula, magiging white dwarf, and eventually magiging black dwarf. Alright mga ka-sky watchers, no, if the remaining mass of the star is more than about 3 times that of the sun, it will collapse so completely that will literally disappear from the universe. What is left is an intense region of gravity called a black hole. So ayan po yung life cycle ng star. Yung mga red supergiant stars will collapse, and this collapse will trigger a supernova explosion. Then eventually the supernova explosion will turn either into a neutron star, or yung mga talagang malalaking stars after the supernova explosion will turn into a black hole. Alright. So ayan po mga ka-sky watchers, no, yan po yung life cycle ng star. Now, what is a neutron star anyway? So a neutron star is also known as a pulsar. Now, a neutron star is a super dense collapsed core of a very massive star that exploded in a supernova. It is incredibly dense with a mass similar to the sun, but the diameter is only about 20 kilometers, no, 12 miles, and is composed mainly of neutrons, no, hence the name neutron star. Neutron stars can spin rapidly, sometimes emitting beams of radiation that act as a lighthouse, kaya tinawag siyang pulsar. Alright, so something like this, ayan, no, ganyan ang pulsar guys, or a neutron star. Yan, so yung radiation niya na is emitted, parang ano yan, may tinatawag po yan na lighthouse effect. Ayan, kaya nagpa-pulsate. That gives the neutron star the name pulsar. Ayan, this radiation can only be observed when the beam of emissions is pointing towards the Earth. This is called the lighthouse effect and give rise to the pulsed nature that give pulsars their name. Alright mga ka-Sky Watchers. So ayan po, ito yung fate ng mga very massive stars. Either they turn into a pulsar or a neutron star. Ayan o, this is a neutron star. Or magiging black holes sila. Alright, so this was first postulated in 1783 by John Mitchell. Ayan po yung mga black holes. A black hole is a region in time and space-time, where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. This immense gravitational pull is caused by a massive amount of matter being squeezed into incredibly tiny space. So ayan po yun na-postulate ni John Mitchell in 1783. Ayan po mga ka-Sky Watchers. So siguro we will have a more detailed discussion kasi itong black holes na ito very interesting po sila talaga. Alright, so there no, yan po yung life cycle ng stars. So yung mga very massive stars will end their lives as a red supergiant. Then pag nag-collapse yung red supergiant stars, that will trigger an explosion, a supernova explosion. Then yung supernova explosion, dalawa po yung fate niyan, either it will turn into a neutron star or it will turn into a black hole. Okay, so marami pong salamat. This is your ka-Sky Watcher, ka-Spacer, and Space Commander Sir Jun Cahigal saying live long and prosper, and always remember to always keep your space and always keep looking up. Yan, look up guys, look up. Maraming pong salamat. See you on our next live stream. Bye-bye po. Ayan, alright. So, marami pong salamat. Sabi ni Shai Shai, okay na po dito sa Manila. Yan, may pasok na bukas. Yan, sabi ni Shiny, thank you po. Alright. Ayan, so thank you po Shai Shai. Sabi ni Zian Edits, hi. Ayan, thank you Miss Marikit for sharing our live for today. Thank you po, maraming pong salamat. Ayan, ingat na rin po tayo. Thank you, bye bye.